जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन भालाभा गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन भालाभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन भालाभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन भालाभा जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन। जय ब्रज जनरंजन। जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन। जय ब्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारि जय कुंज बिहारी। जय यमुना तीरवनचारि जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव 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 जय कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमाधि सेवांग्रही सैसी भक्तिवेदांता स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शिला प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराशिमं भागवतं की निताय गौरा प्रेमानंदी। Oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to the assembled devotees, oh glories to Shishiguru and Shiguranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 88, Lord Shiva saved from Vrikasura. Text 24 to 28. No, 25 to 28. 25 to 28. Ajanata pratibidhim dushnin ashan sureshwara tato vaikuntanagamat bhashwaram tamasa param agyananta pratibidhim dushnin asan sureshwara tato vaikuntanagamat bhashwaram tamasa param agyananta pratibidhim tushtin ashan sureshwara tato vaikuntanagamat bhashwaram tamasa param. Please chant. Agyananta pratibidhim tushnin ashan sureshwara tato vaikuntanagamat bhashwaram tamasa param. Agyananta pratibidhim tushnin ashan sureshwara tato vaikuntanagamat bhashwaram tamasa param. Agyananta pratibidhim tushnin ashan sureshwara tato vaikuntanagamat bhashwaram tamasa param. Agyananta, not knowing, pratibidhim, counteraction, tushning, silent, asam, remain, sura, of the demigods, ishwaraha, the lords, tataha, then, vaikuntham, to Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God, agamat, he came, bhashwaram, luminous, tamasaha, darkness, param, beyond. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the great demigods could only remain silent, not knowing how to counteract the benediction. Then Lord Shiva reached the luminous realm of Vaikuntha, beyond all darkness, where the Supreme Lord Narayana is manifest. That realm is the destination of renunciants who have obtained peace and given up all violence against other creatures. Going there, one never returns. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, Lord Shiva entered the planet of Sweta Dweep, a special outpost of the spiritual world within the confines of the material universe. There, on a beautiful white island surrounded by the celestial ocean of milk, Lord Vishnu rests on the serpent bed of Ananta Shesha, making himself available to the demigods when they need his help. Text 27 and 28. Translation: the Supreme Lord, who relieved his devotees' distress, had seen from afar that Lord Shiva was in danger. Thus, by his mystic Yogamaya potency, he assumed the form of a brahmachari student with the appropriate belt, deerskin, rod, and prayer beads, and came before Brikasura. The Lord's effulgent glowed brilliantly like fire. Holding kusha grass in his hand, he humbly greeted the demon. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes the disguised Lord Narayan as saying, quote, "For us, seers of the absolute truth, all created beings are worthy of respect. And since you are the son of Shakuni, a wise man and performer of great austerities, you certainly deserve the respectful greetings of a young brahmachari like myself." End of quote. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitanyena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swami Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Shatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. There is something that at least I'm appreciating from this chapter, is to gain a much deeper understanding, or at least to have the opportunity to think deeply about the whole structure that Krishna has provided for us in this material world, and the purpose of these things, the purpose of everything that is there, the purpose of the material world, let's put it this way. We know that everything is designed to accommodate conditioned souls who come to this world with a particular flaw, or in one sense sometimes it's called a disease. It is explained that the original thing that brings the conditioned souls or the souls into this material world to become conditioned by material nature is this duality of desire and hate. So it's something that arises from the heart. And the place where it arises is come from this capacity or this quality that the Lord gives us of free, free will. From free will, then these characteristics manifest from the free will. The term in Sanskrit is called Ichcha. Ichcha means we have a choice. We've been given the capacity to choose. And because we've been given that capacity to choose, a living entity can have the types of the capacity to desire certain things can arise. And it is explained that the desire that comes is a desire to take Krishna's position. How it will be if I'm in the position of Krishna? That's something that some of our acharyas have explained, that is a type of desire that arises in the living entity. How it will be if I'm in the position of Krishna? And with that desire, then it's almost like it's like a disease desire, it's a contaminated desire. Because it's something that is first is not possible, but then what happens is that desire leads to some envy, and the envy start to degrade into hatred, which is quite something. I mean, the term Icha and Dvesha. Dvesha means hatred. That's also described like that. So it's called aversion, but also hatred. Hatred. Which is quite shocking, thinking that a spirit soul can develop hatred for Krishna. It's not. It's something that is not part of the essence of the living entity. The living entity is naturally connected to Krishna in love and devotion. It's part of the essence of the living entity. But to develop that idea, and it comes just from a misplaced desire, a choice. So the word Icha is used for choice, but it's also used for desire, which is quite interesting, you know. So a desire, when you have a desire, then you can have different choices that you have to fulfill that desire. So there is that connection that is there. So anyway, we have this contaminated desire that brings us into this material world, and the whole purpose of the material world is to try to reestablish the natural position of the living entity, to eliminate that contamination. So everything is designed for that. So the way the world is organized and designed by the Lord is to be able for the living entity again to understand that the only shelter is Krishna. And so everything leads the conditioned soul is designed to lead the conditioned soul to understand that Krishna is everything. And the natural position of the living entity is the position of full surrender exclusively to the lotus feet of the Lord. The term that Krishna uses in the Bhagavad Gita is Saranagati. So the last instruction that he gave to Arjuna is that this instruction of exclusive Saranagati or surrender. How's it go? Sarva Dharman, Sarva Dharman Parijamam Ekam Sharanam. Yes, Sarva Dharman Parijamam Ekam Sharanam. Ekam Sharanam, exclusive Sharanam. This process of exclusive surrender. Our Acharya Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes that as the process of Saranagati, the end of all surrender. The aim of all surrender is to take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So everything leads to that. Everything leads to that. And all the representative, all the structure that Krishna creates for the living entity is to lead conditioned souls into that. And I'm mentioning this because it's part of the appreciation that, thinking, okay, here are the description of Lord Shiva. And we have the position, we hear also the narrations of Lord Brahma. So these are two very important empowered personalities that are controllers in the universe. They're described as guna avatars. When we talk about avatars, avatars are personalities that are empowered, or is a descent, or is an avatar is when either the Lord personally or the powers of the Lord are manifested in this material world. So it is a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within this material world. That is called an avatar. So these personalities, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, they're guna avatars. Now, Lord Brahma is a Shakti-avesh avatar. It's a living entity that is empowered with the creative powers of the Supreme Lord. Lord Shiva is not a jiva. Lord Shiva is a personality that have his own tattva. He's not jiva tattva, he's not Vishnu tattva. But Lord Shiva, it is explained, that is the Supreme Lord Vishnu coming in contact with material nature. So having a direct interaction with material nature. The Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu, is transcendental. It means that he is beyond material nature. But when the Lord unites with material nature, combines with material nature, that is Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is very special, unique. So now both are considered, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, guna avatars. Guna avatars within the whole structure of the universal organization. They are controlling the mode of nature of passion and ignorance. And they're in charge of two of the main aspects that happen cyclically in the material creation, which is creation and annihilation. Creation and annihilation. And then there is Lord Vishnu himself, who as an avatar, and these are called the what is the name of the avatars of Lord Vishnu? Karuna Dakshay Vishnu, Garbo Dakshay Vishnu, and Shira Dakshay Vishnu. They are, now I forgot the word. Well, they manifest, both Garba Dakshay Vishnu and Shira Dakshay Vishnu, they manifest in the material world as avatars. The particular function of the Lord as this avatar is to maintain the whole material creation. So that is the organization. That is the organization of the structure of the universe. There's a Lord himself descending in the form of Lord Vishnu into the material world and expanding himself, the expansion, this avatar of Garba Dakshay Vishnu, who in the beginning of the creation is from his navel, Lord Brahma manifests, and then the creation takes place. And in the stem of his lotus, the lotus flower that sprouts from his navel, all the 14 planetary systems are contained. So that's how the Lord built this whole particular universe. And then he expands himself as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who enters or who creates, in one sense, this pose of the spiritual world within the material world, which is called Svetadvip. We hear this about Svetadvip. Svetadvip is a place that is non different than Vaikuntha within this material world. It's an island in an ocean of milk that is situated in a planet within this material world. That planet is called Dhruvaloka, or the pole star. The famous pole star is a planet where the ocean of milk is there, and the planet where the Lord have this pose, this island that is called Svetadvip. And there the Lord, in his form as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who is the all-pervading personality, who enters into each atom and into the heart of all living entities. That's how the Lord structured the whole thing. So you have the Supreme Lord present, then you have these two other powerful controllers of material nature, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. One is in charge of creation, one is in charge of destruction. And then you have all the different empowered demigods that are administrating the whole system of the universe. And then you have the living entities in the inhabiting 4 million, 8,400,000 species of life. Or 9 millions, 8 millions, 8,400,000 species of life. So, out of those, the human beings have the capacity to understand the absolute truth. So, for that system, the Lord creates, process. The process of how to regain again the understanding that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Krishna is everything. And therefore, when I come to that understanding or that realization, Krishna is everything, I naturally surrender to him. Saranagati. Saranagati means 6 things. That Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer, Krishna, what are the other 4 limbs of Saranagati? That I must surrender everything to him, that everything I have belongs to him, that everything that is positive for the service of Krishna I will take. And I will do that with the utmost humility. Humility means understanding that I'm an eternal particle. I'm Anu Chaitanya. I'm very tiny. Anu means atomic. And the Lord is Vibhu, which is, unlimited. And with that type of humility, my natural function is Yato Bhaktir Adokshaye. That is a loving connection and service to the personality of Godhead. So that is a natural progression. Now, what I'm saying this in terms of what I was thinking, because this chapter presents to us something that is quite challenging. And in fact, is something that sometimes people are not ready to fully comprehend. And in one sense, it also brings to confusion. Because why in the world you can have a system? I mean, this system is supposed to be perfect because it's designed by the Lord. That Krishna Archana mentions yesterday the verse in which, 6th canto, Dharmas tu Bhagavan Pranitam, that this process of the laws of religion are given by the Lord himself. They're perfect. They're perfect to keep order, full order in the whole universe. So, how is it that a process designed by the Lord have these vulnerabilities that an element completely in the mode of ignorance with demoniac tendencies can have the capacity, using the process of yagya and tapasya, which is the process that is given by the Lord, to be able to obtain everything that is desirable in this life, to live a progressive, healthy life, and to be able, by the end of this life, to come to the position of Vasudeva Sarvamiti. How is it possible that a system that is designed for this progressive elevation of consciousness can be exploited by a demoniac entity to use the process of yagya and tapasya, or sacrifice and austerities, to obtain a desire that is meant, like yesterday we heard, for the destruction of other living entities? How? How you can create a system like that, and how these powerful personalities, such as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, are almost like forced to give those facilities to such demoniac entities. I mean, it's like something like this. Some crazy people say, can I have a knife? You know, there's a group, there's a congregation of people, and this crazy guy comes to you. I want to get a knife from you because I want to, cut, to stab people. And then you go, oh, okay. Because the person, came to a temple and approached you. Something. I don't know. The thing is, how can someone in charge allow that? It have to be a flow program. Like, we can criticize the present laws, some of the laws in this country that allows, the abuse of the Second Amendment of to bear firearms in order to protect yourself. And then that legislation gets abused by demoniac people. And now, any crazy person can have access to guns and then use it for the destruction of other people's life. And then the idea to curb that, oh no, we cannot curb that because it means you curb also the other people. So this type of flaws in the system of organization, how that can be in the universal system of the Lord. That's something that comes into question, because how is that Lord Shiva? I mean, Lord Shiva knew, he could understand, all of them, it is explained, Narada Muni, he could understand what is the intention of this fellow. Bad intention. And even then, Narada Muni directed him, yeah, you can get what you want if you approach Lord Shiva. You like, wait a second, why? And then Lord Shiva also, Lord Shiva is a perfect being. Is even to say perfect is even not appropriate. He is Lord Shiva. He's a is a top personality. He's a top devotee of the Lord. When we talk about the glories of the devotees, and Lord Shiva is considered Vaishnava Yata Sambhu, is the greatest of devotees. So, a devotee, and then we talk about Narada Muni. So you talk about Lord Brahma, they're heads of sampradayas, of disciplines of station, both Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So one can expect, that no, this cannot happen. But it happens. The question then is how it happens. And then one type of understanding is that, we cannot analyze Lord Shiva as being bewildered. That's not possible. The bewilderment, or let's put it this way better, because say with Lord Brahma, there's a chapter in the 10th canto that is called Brahma Bimohan Lila, the bewilderment of Lord Brahma. But the difference is that there's the word Lila. So, Brahma Bimohan Lila. With these personalities, the moments in which they have to enter into this situation in which they display what appears to be human frailties, they're not. They're not, and they should not be analyzed like that, and they should not be even try to be understood from that perspective. The fact that it says here that Lord Shiva was trembling and afraid, is not the same of us trembling and afraid from some type of danger. The type of bewilderment that Lord Brahma had to experience is not the same type of bewilderment that we experience, when we observe the activities of great personalities, of the activities of saintly devotees. It's not the same. We cannot analyze it like that. These are personalities that are imperfect. They're extensions of the Lord. They're connected to the Supreme Lord purpose. And what is that purpose again? To lead people to understand that the only shelter and the only protection is from the Supreme Lord. So therefore, Lord Vishnu takes that position in the order of the universe. He is the maintainer, he is the protector, he is the guardian of the whole creation. So some people may see these two personalities, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as supreme. And in order for that to be clear, that Lord Shiva also takes the protection of Lord Vishnu. Lord Brahma also constantly takes the protection of Lord Vishnu. And the system that appears to be flawed is designed in such a way that to allow the Lord to perform the lila of reestablishing the principles of religion when there's an anomaly in the principles of religion caused by demoniac people. So the Lord comes to reestablish the principles of religion, to eliminate the demons, and to give pleasure to the devotees. So these three things is what the Lord performs. This is lila of the Lord. And that lila of the Lord constantly reestablish the principle that he is a maintainer, he is our protector. And therefore, I must surrender to him. So that is a constant thing that happens. So we see that every time these anomalies in general happens when there is a powerful demon that obtains this type of benedictions. So we see Hiranyakashipu, Narada Muni told Vikrasura, this is what other demons like Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they obtain boons from Lord Brahma. And then we have Ravana and Kurmakarna, they obtain boons from Lord Shiva. And then like that, we have so many. Baumasura was mentioned, he obtained boons from Lord Shiva. So these powerful demons who obtain boons and benedictions, they cause these anomalies in the principles of religion that allows the Lord to descend in his avatar forms to protect. And the general thing is that when there is this anomaly, all the controllers of the universe goes to the shore of the ocean of milk and pray for the Lord's protection. In the same way we have right here, Lord Shiva trying to find protection and then coming to the Lord at the end at Swetadweep and request his protection. And the Lord performed these beautiful pastimes. So this is something that we, at least myself and trying to take from these chapters, and understand a couple of things to conclude. Well, one is that it's designed like that by the Lord to actually help us understand the exclusivity of taking shelter of His lotus feet for our maintenance, for our protection. And then to understand that the connection that is there by great personalities such as Lord Shiva, that he is not touched by the modes of nature. He is transcendental to that. He is not controlled by that. He is controlled by the spiritual energy of the Lord. Same with Lord Brahma. As pure devotees, Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita, that those who are pure devotees, they control by the Daivi Shakti. They control by the spiritual nature of the Lord, the spiritual energy. They're situated in the spiritual energy. So it's not the same. It's not the same. When it appears that they are performing something that is that have the frailties of human behavior, it's not the same. So it's important that we don't fall into that mistaken idea of trying to understand them from our perspective. I was going to say one last thing too, but it skipped my mind. I'm going to stop here if there's any comments or questions.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your class. I was just thinking how anyone with the title Lord has to be pretty special. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. And it seems like when I hear about in the Bible, they say in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The Lord created the heavens and the earth. Seems like they're speaking about Lord Brahma. And the Western world doesn't understand that it wasn't, the way we understand that Lord Brahma was empowered for creation. So I was wondering if you have any thoughts on it.
Yeah. There's different understandings, within other religions. There's different levels. Within other religions, you have very advanced devotees, and that have a much more esoteric understanding that is, quite close and connected to the proper understanding. So I'm not very familiar with some of these things. But yeah, at the end is what I was going to say. You mentioned, one of the things that you mentioned was that this conception of the heaven. Oh yes, I was going to mention that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains this system, third chapter, that in the beginning of creation, he created this system of mans and demigods, and the process of yajna for being able to obtain desirable things and go back home, back to Godhead. So heaven and, is where the demigods are. So heaven and earth are a very much a symbiotic type of system that is there, that allows, um, people to function, and the guidelines for that function is the process of religion. So it's all pretty much very, very amazingly organized. And the whole thing, if one follows properly, then it elevates you to the position of understanding and surrender to Krishna.
So I was thinking of the rhetorical question you raised in the earlier part of the presentation of how it can actually be that there's a category of persons that utilize the system that's there and, cause some disturbance. So there's two categories of persons always existing in the world, the divine and the demoniac. So I suppose the demoniac, because of the focus on a selfish motive constantly, there's that utilization of the system of obtaining what the particular individual selfishly wants, but without proper.
Can you bring down that microphone down? Don't know which number. So just bring the master down a little bit.
But without properly connecting to the system. It's like somebody who comes to know of the existence of something in some system and they just take a little part of it that seems to suit them, but they don't really know how the system works, perhaps. So I suppose it's a kind of ignorance. You don't know how the system works. Because the demon doesn't acknowledge Lord Vishnu or the existence of Lord Vishnu.
Yeah, so it could be, it could be ignorance, but many of these demons, I mean, we see it now in modern life, how really demoniac people lost, that have this insatiable lust for power and for control, Bhoga Aishwarya, they use the system to obtain, their means. So they find loops, say people that find ways of not paying taxes and still being, like that, cheating the system in one sense, because you find loops, you find vulnerable things within the law that allows you to do that type of thing. Or, we've seen so much in some of the arguments that are right now in terms of the use of power, like in a way that is like an authoritarian type of use of power. That although the system is built to have these counteracting, these checks and balances, then you find ways of, within the system to avoid that or to skip that. Those are the demons. They're the ones who figure it. They're the ones who use the intelligence to actually try to use the system, so therefore they can be, they can flourish within the society. That's the type. Those are the white collar sort of criminals. And then you have, regular criminals that there's outlaws. But these people use the laws to actually being able to do the criminal stuff, which is they're the worst. They're considered the worst. Krishna described it as the Naradama, the worst of mankind. The worst of mankind, and even demons are in another category too. That is really really bad. So yeah, and the whole thing, comes from ignorance. Is fueled by ignorance, because in terms of the extreme selfishness that is there, that you're so disconnected to what is beneficial for you that you act in such a way to fulfill whatever base desires you have, and that at the end is going to cause destruction. You mentioned yesterday, not just for the others but for yourself. So how long can you go with that, causing great harm? And so that's there. So I think something to comment to what you mentioned. Yeah. All right. Oh, one question. Yes.
I just had a little observation. It's more like contemporary demoniac kind of people who look demoniac. That a lot of times learn that in their lives they're very traumatized personalities. Like grew up in like psychopath. Like our president, his dad was like a psychopath. And like so he has only pain, so he delivers only pain. So it's kind of it's all those a lot of like messages are like controversial too. It's just you makes you feel like you want to understand them, but they still like not acting in accordance to kind of some humanity.
Yeah. 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 It's you can understand that with the demoniac tendencies. I mean, if we read the Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, it gives you entrance to that psychology of a demoniac mind, and then so you can understand. The world is being controlled by people that are being led in this type of so self-centered and so callous to to the well-being of other living entities and other people and all like that. That is, you can see it cannot be other than a demoniac tendency, because humans by nature, there's a fine quality. When we get this body comes accompanied with the capacity to to um, to display very fine qualities, the qualities that are made in the image of the Supreme Lord. In these bodies that we can manifest that, because we have the qualities of the Lord. It is explained that I can't remember the percentage, but the Lord has 64 qualities, and we have, of those 64, we have 50 of them. So we have the great majority of the qualities of the Lord in a minute, but nevertheless, these are divine qualities. So these are very fine qualities that the human body brings with it. And demoniac propensities sort of diminish those qualities to the point that they actually disappear, and it becomes something else, becomes the opposite. So therefore, it becomes very very important part of the Lord's system is that He not only provide the ideals, He not only provide the examples, the guidelines, but also provides the means for purification. So the activities of spiritual activities of sadhana bhakti, of devotional service, then are meant for eliminating this demoniac disease that weakens and at the end sort of destroy the fine qualities, the divine qualities that we naturally possess. So yes, so then that's why it's so important, so fundamental that we take up the process of sadhana, and we teach that to people as a means also for them to elevate. And the yagyas are meant for that, for peoples in general. That's why the prescription for rulers is to facilitate yagyas. So the great saintly kings, they used to perform these big public yagyas in which the whole population were exposed and the whole population was, involved in being part of the yagya. And yesterday we also heard that the yagya for this age is Sankirtan yagya. So for us, that's why our Sankirtan, this Srila Prabhupada's movement is a Sankirtan movement. It's a Sankirtan, it is a Sankirtan mission. So our purpose is to broadcast the glories of the Supreme Lord out publicly, to reach the public out, to outreach with Sankirtan, and to constantly be engaged in Sankirtan, public Sankirtan. So the festivals, the temples are meant for that. The temples are meant to actually be a facility in which people can congregate and engage in Sankirtan. And we devotees who are being either living in the temple or being trained in the temples are places of education. So they have these two things. It's a place to facilitate Sankirtan Yagya, but it's a place for trained people in how to not only properly practice devotional service, but to teach devotional service. So this is a place of education, of transcendental education. And we get prepared to be able to broadcast, to teach others, and to bring the Sankirtan Yagya to the public, to outreach. So this is our mission. This is what we're supposed to do. This is the mandate of for devotees, and especially the mandate for those who are chatyas or who are administrators, to facilitate those two things, the education and the outreach. Everything is designed for that. As a means, and that's what Prabhupada's movement represents. It's a branch of the Chaitanya tree of so it's non-different. It's a limb of Lord Chaitanya that is meant for the purpose of Lord Chaitanya, which is to spread the Sankirtan mission, the Yuga Dharma of Sankirtan all over the world. Thank you. Grantara Shriman Bhagavatam Ki Jai.